Get ready for Oskaloosa High School sports on the Indians Network. Live sports. Local content. Student-run broadcasts. MCG, Oski News, and KIIC bring you the Indians Network. Presented by Craig Ford.
Hello, Indians fans, and welcome to another edition of the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, right here on the Indians Network, which is a partnership of MCG, Oskaloosa News, Thunder Country, KIIC. I'm Jamie Brockman, and pleased to be back this week. Winter sports is well underway now, and we've had a few broadcasts already here on the Indians Network, and some good results so far for our winter sports teams. Girls basketball is 1-2 right now. Got a season-opening win over Centerville to start it off. Then had 1-3 rather. Then had a few losses to Fairfield and Knoxville, as well as Grinnell last week. Boys basketball, 1-1. They got their season going last week. They got a nice win on the road at Fairfield to open up. Big game by the X Factor, Xavier Foster, who we're going to feature on the program today, by the way. But he had 31 points and 12 rebounds, 5 block shots, and just kind of took over that game as Oskaloosa got a nice 22-point win there to open the season. And then, of course, this past Friday night, Oskaloosa home to open their season against Grinnell, and Xavier Foster fouls out about 5.5 minutes to go, and Oskaloosa struggled from that point, went into overtime, and Grinnell handed the Indians an early season loss. So they are 1-1. We'll talk to DeJuan Foster, who is taking over the head coaching duties while Coach Ryan Parker is battling some health issues, and we'll also talk to senior Xavier Foster on the program today. We'll also talk to J.C. White, the head girls basketball coach. Wrestling had a couple of meets this past week. On Thursday, they were in a quad with Grinnell and a few other teams, Sheraton and Sadell, as well as Oskaloosa. The Indians went 2-1 in that quad, had some good results. And then Saturday, they went to a very tough team tournament at DCG. It was a 14-team tournament, came away with a 7th-place team finish. One champion, Leland Evans, 9 total place winners on Saturday. We'll talk to Coach Chase Weber about the start to the season for the Indian wrestling squad, and we'll talk to our one champion from Saturday, Leland Evans, today as well. And we've got a nice surprise coming your way. We're going to feature something a little different. We're going to change locations for a short period, go on location, if you will, a little bit later in the program. And we're going to feature the Dance Dynamics team and talk to them. They had a big week last week at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, taking several different routines to the state dance team competition, and had some great results, including our co-ed team, 4th straight state championship and Judge's Choice Award. Also, Lyrical won state championship as well. So we'll talk to some of the Dance Dynamic team members and show you a little bit of what they do in their co-ed event coming up here in a little bit. So it's an action-packed, fun, full-filled Indians Corner today. We hope you'll stick around and enjoy it. We'll be back with it right after this on the Indians Network.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! And the winner by unanimous decision, Hy-Vee!
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Welcome back to our Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network. I'm Jamie Brockman, and, well, winter sports is full underway, and all of our squads in the winter have had at least some action at this point, and joined right now by J.C. White. She is the head girls basketball coach at Oskaloosa, and going back to the start, a week ago Tuesday, Oskaloosa opened their season at Centerville with a season opening win, 61 58. Let's start there, JC, because we haven't talked to you since then. But that was an exciting start to the season. The girls came out, some new faces. They competed well, and 61 points up on the board, and toughed it out there at the end to get the win.
Yeah, I was really happy with, for first game, how we came out and played. Offensively, we moved the ball pretty well. Had to make some adjustments in the game, and it wasn't perfect by any means. But, you know, late game situation, we really haven't had. When you're that early in the season, you get, what, 2 weeks of practice?
Yep.
Not quite 2 weeks of practice. We haven't spent a ton of time on late game situations, and so for them to execute, not necessarily well in the late game, but to pull it off and finish was a great start for us for confidence.
Macy Career hit a big three-pointer there with just seconds left to put Oski back on top, and then Amanda Fay got a big rebound, hit a couple of free throws to ice it at the end, and Oski starts out with a 61-58 win at Centerville. So then you had a full week of practice before you had your next outing on Tuesday at Fairfield. What was that week of practice like? What were the attitudes and the the mental toughness like coming off a win?
It was good. We were pretty focused all week. You know, this group of girls is just special with their chemistry, and they have fun together. And any outing they have, practice games, they make it fun. And so it was just good to come off a win and just have that confidence in practice. And everything was a little bit lighter, less pressure. You know, when you get that win, then it's not like, oh gosh, now what are we gonna do? And so I was happy with practice following that.
So then we went to Fairfield on Tuesday and just did not have a good night, to say the least. Way too many turnovers, obviously, and I know that's something that's kind of bit this team a lot the last few years, and looked like it was improved at Centerville, but then it kind of came back at Fairfield again.
Yeah, it was kind of just mental errors. You know, Fairfield pressed us, and you saw it Friday, like, we can break a press. It's just we've got to be mentally tough to make those good passes and finish the possessions. And we really weren't ready on Tuesday, and we didn't execute well. And it's frustrating from a standpoint of, at practice, we're making so many improvements from last year, and just knowing what those girls are capable of. It was kind of a frustrating loss for everyone. The girls knew it, and they just, you know, it's one of those where we're like, all right, brush it off. We got to come out and play hard.
Yeah, Fairfield, you mentioned they played a lot of press and a lot of man-to-man defense, and we saw a lot of zone at Centerville. And what are the differences there? I mean, why are they so good against a zone but then struggle so much maybe against a man or a press?
We've been moving the ball really well against the zone. I think the nice thing about the zone is that we've got a lot of shooters. And, you know, with Macy and Mary and Kaylee Johnson's attacking well, and we can bring Ashley Smith off the bench and get some shots out of her. So we've just had more shooters, which is easy against a zone when you've got them on the perimeter. But against man, we've got to be better ball handlers, and that's kind of been the struggle. And we knew that coming into the season, but we work on it every day, and it's just a skill development thing that we got to keep working on.
So you mentioned more scorers. It does seem, or more shooters. It does seem like we have more scorers this year. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming the #1 goal when you come down the floor is find Amanda, get it to her if we can. But yeah, Mary and Macy and even Kaylee and Jillian have really stepped up shooting the basketball this year when they see the opportunity.
Yeah, we've really shared the ball well. I'm happy with the way we're moving the ball offensively. We talked a lot about how we've got to use our posts inside to get the ball back out. And when our posts are off, it kind of tightens everything up. And so, you know, we just work on getting position. Amanda and Jillian do a great job of kicking out to shooters on the weak side, especially against the zone, you know, when they're sinking down low. And we just have to be more consistent with that offensive look against man, against zone, against whatever.
Sure. Well, then we went opened up conference play at home opener. Obviously, a lot of excitement around that on this past Friday night, and Grinnell came to town, and we didn't get the win, but I thought, you know, overall, very competitive. We seemed to have some fire and energy. We didn't back down, even though we didn't get the win.
Yeah, I was super happy with how we played on Friday. We broke a press, we moved the ball well, we took great shots. You know, it was tough. We were playing like 7 deep against their 10, and they're 7-5 in and 5 out, and we still played with them, you know, the whole game, other than a small stretch of kind of turnovers was the difference in the game. But, you know, we're getting the game of basketball so much better, and we're moving the ball well and playing together and taking shots within our skill set. We're kind of starting to figure out our roles and when it's a good look for me and when it's a better look for the next pass or my teammate that's on the weak side who's standing there in their skill set with what we want in the offense. And so I was really happy with the way we played. We fought hard to come back after they handed it to us last year and to come back and compete. One of the girls said one of the Grinnell girls came out fourth quarter and said, you know, we were not prepared for this. You guys look so much better. And so that was a huge compliment to those girls that they're capable. It's just we got to put it together every game that we step on the court.
Of course, Grinnell's been very successful the last 3 seasons, state tournament appearances, a state runner-up a couple of years back. They lost some of those girls, but they still had 2 key players back from last year's team, and Oskaloosa is very competitive in that conference opener on Friday. So then Saturday, I didn't see this game, I just saw the score, so I'm going to have you fill me in a little bit. But Saturday, a non-conference game on the road at Knoxville. Knoxville's group of girls right now is a pretty athletic group. They were successful in volleyball. I know they've had success in soccer, and it seems to be carrying over into basketball. So kind of another lopsided game there on Saturday, but just take me through that and tell me what was good and what was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty similar to Fairfield. We just really didn't execute. You know, they've got the Kychus girl and the Wilkins girl, and that's basically their whole offense. And game plan was to slow those two down. You know, they're just so athletic. You can't stop them, but if we can slow them down was the goal. And defensively, we were trying to take charges. We wanted to take charges, and I think we took one in the fourth quarter, and it was from one of my JV girls coming off the bench. And so we just got to be better and more sound to execute, you know, our game plan, and we just really didn't do that. And I know it was frustrating for the girls, and you could see it on their faces, but we talked about you gotta be able to come out even after a tough game the night before. You know, they worked hard, and they were dead tired Friday night, and that's what it should feel like every game you come out. And you know, I just didn't feel like we had quite the effort that we did on Friday. It was a little more loose and just not great execution.
So the Oskaloosa girls are 1-3 right now overall. Only 4 games into the season. Still plenty of time to work things out and grow. 0-1 in Little Hawkeye Conference play. And Monday night game coming up this week. And obviously this is going to air on Wednesday, so that game will already be complete. But North Mahaska. And that's always fun because North Mahaska is just 12 miles up the road. The girls, I'm sure, have played together in AAU and club and whatever else in different sports. They're a small school, but that doesn't affect how they play basketball. They're a very successful program. So what do you see in North Mahaska this year?
Yeah, they actually play very similar to Grinnell. They've got some girls that are shooters. They want to attack. They'll play fast. If we can execute like we did on Friday, we can really compete with them, and that'll be the first time we've competed with North Mahaska in a few years. You know, that group of girls coming through that senior class is really good, really competitive. They've played together for a number of years, and so they're just sound from a basketball standpoint. But you saw us Friday, and if we can play like that against teams in our conference, we can compete and we can make some stuff happen and put ourselves in games.
Absolutely. So that's Monday night at home, North Mahaska. Then you're off until Friday, and then it's a road trip back into conference play, going all the way to DCG, Dallas Center Grimes. And you know, DCG last year anyway had a very successful girls team and was very competitive in the conference. What do they bring to the table this year?
They're bringing more. They're still competitive. They've still got the Cunningham girl, and she's a phenomenal athlete. Word on the street is that they've got a freshman coming in that plays a lot like her. So we'll definitely have our hands full with them. But you know, it's kind of same thing. We just want to compete in small areas and do, you know, set small goals along the way. And if we can execute and do what we're capable of doing, we can put ourselves in games and be competitive.
So all that said, you've mentioned a lot of things that you've seen in practice and seen in games that have went well, and then we've mentioned some things that obviously need work. But what do you think are the biggest things that still need focus, that is your primary focus between now and the time we maybe get to Christmas time?
We got to work on the offensive end against man, just being more sound, moving the ball like we do against a zone, and just being sure of ourselves in our offense when teams are going to match up on us, because you know, a lot of teams play us man-to-man in our conference too. They've got the athletes to be able to do that, and so we just got to be more sound there.
Okay. Well, good luck to you. I mean, like we said, we've seen glimpses of what the girls can do, and now as soon as they can put that together for 4 quarters, we're going to see some more W's. So I certainly think there's room to grow for this team for sure, and the talent is there. So JC, thanks for coming in again this week, and good luck this coming week against North Mahaska and DCG.
Thanks, Jamie.
That is JC White. She's the head girls basketball coach at Oskaloosa High School, joining us here on the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Much more to come. We'll talk Oski boys basketball coming up after this.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! Decision.
MCG was born out of the need for reliable connectivity in rural Iowa. We put small-town values over all else because serving local communities is something we take seriously. We believe in providing world-class service, in giving our communities a chance to succeed, in treating everyone like family. MCG helped pioneer reliable communication services in Iowa, and in doing so, learned how to provide solutions in underserved communities. MCG, world-class service, small-town values.
All right. Welcome back to Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network. Presented by Craig Ford, I'm Jamie Brockman, and we're going to talk Oskaloosa boys basketball now. As you can see, we're joined by, right now, the interim head coach, I guess, the acting head coach for the time being, which is DeJuan Foster, who's filling in for Ryan Parker as he's battling some health issues currently. And DeJuan made his debut on Friday night at home, and Oskaloosa, of course, lost a close game to Grinnell. We'll talk about that in just a moment. First of all, Coach, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, we're 3 games in. And we're 2-1, so let's just start there and talk about we're 1-1. 2 games in, 2 games in, 1-1. Let's just talk about what you've seen from this team in the first 2 games, and we can break down each game.
You know, as of right now, this is a brand new group, and we are really just learning. I kind of set a goal, you know, early this season is make it to Christmas break, and then we can know who we have, and you know, we can better define roles going into the conference season. You know, started off early this year at Fairfield where, you know, we played well. We're kind of clicking on all cylinders. Unexpectedly on the road, first game of the season, things went well, kids shot the ball well, and we played well. Come back, you know, our second game of the season, you know, kind of the day of the game, we get the news about Coach Parker not being around, and I think that had a little bit to do with it, you know, all of us, myself, the kids included. You know, it was a really short turnaround as far as me changing my voice towards the team. You know, I had to go from, you know, I could be good cop all the time, you know, with Parker there, and to now it's more of a balancing act between myself and the rest of the coaching staff to kind of get the guys to hear, you know, the message is the same, the voice is just different. So we're just really trying to, you know, get the kids used to hearing my voice more so than Coach Parker's. Still doing a lot of the same stuff, and the game was an ugly game. I mean, you know, I'm really proud of, you know, the way some of the guys played. I mean, we had a couple seniors who played really, really well. Noah Van Velheisen was awesome. Isaac was really tough defensively. Scorebook may not reflect that. You know, Jake Hall's a heck of a player, but Isaac did a great job defending him. Noah shot the ball well. Colton Butler, I don't know if he got a break the entire game, but, you know, the kid went out and laid it all out there. And, you know, we came up short, and that'll happen when Xavier fouls out and, we scored 8 points in the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter and a 5-minute overtime. It was just a, you know, kind of tough sledding. So
yeah, neither team really did much there down the stretch, and you know, I guess Grinnell tried to give us chances to win that game a couple of times. I thought it was a done deal, and Grinnell was going to get a W in regulation, and then something would happen, and we'd get a bucket or whatever and get right back in it. But early season loss. So let's talk about this. What was so the moment Xavier fouled out, I think there was about 5.5 minutes to go in the game, and it was a tight game at that point. So what was the discussion you had with the rest of the players at that point, and how did it change the overall plan on the floor?
You know what? It didn't really change much as far as what we were doing. We were still going to run our stuff, and, you know, it's just somebody need to make a play. You know, if I felt like if we stayed solid defensively, we'd be okay. We stayed solid defensively. I mean, we were great. we just couldn't get the ball to go in the hole. I think we had 4 looks on one possession with under a minute left in the game. And, you know, it was just rimmed out, 3 offensive rebounds. Ball just didn't go in the hole. And, I mean, you know, that's the game of basketball. Sometimes it'll go, sometimes it won't.
Well, we knew Grinnell was going to be tough coming in. Obviously, Hull is one of the better players in the conference. We knew that. And Isaac had his hands full with him all night long. But is this a good thing to have an early season setback like this? We're now early in the season, and the guys kind of sit back and go, whoa, maybe we're not where we thought we were?
Me personally, I'll never say a loss is a good thing. But, you know, it was a learning experience. You know, we picked up a lot on film. You know, I think I've watched the film 3 or 4 times now. Just how we can better execute and make sure, you know, maybe we could get different guys shots. And a lot of it is my inexperience in that position. Like, you know, I was kind of fish out of water. Not to say that I hadn't coached before. You know, I had done it for 12 years at Penn, but it was a whole new deal in the high school, no shot clock, and, you know, just getting the ball to go in the hole. You make some, you miss some.
Absolutely.
That's the nature of the game.
Yep. Well, you know, and speaking of Little Hawkeye Conference, I mean, we know it's going to be a dogfight every single night. Home, away, it doesn't matter if you're playing the top team in the conference, the bottom team. They all are very tough. By far, I say the toughest top-to-bottom conference in the state of Iowa, as we always say. But, you know, Pella Christian beat Pella in overtime, a close game on Friday night. So those are 2 teams expected to compete up top, and they're beating each other. So this is going to happen throughout the year. We're not going to get through this conference unscathed and just run through it.
I mean, I've been here 4 years, and this is my 4th year now, and I don't think a team has done it thus far. You know, you're going to lose conference games, and that's part of it. It's just how you respond and come back and play. You know, a loss isn't the end of the world. It's about getting better until February. You know, we want to be clicking on all cylinders in February going into March.
Absolutely. So we filmed this on Sunday, so you'll go back to work on Monday. You've been watching tape over the weekend, as you said, and then Monday back to the gym with the guys. And then Tuesday you prepare for Centerville coming in for a non-conference game. So what's your focus on Monday? What do you attack first, and what do you want to see improve going into Tuesday?
We just got to get better as far as offensively and being able to run our sets. You know, we just struggle sometimes getting into places. And then when Xavier fouled out, we had guys in different places, and we didn't really we were kind of out of place. But, you know, the focus is really on Centerville. You know, they got 2 really good scorers. And it's just if we're solid defensively, I think we can beat a lot of teams. And we're really going to focus on defensive end, which will lead to offense.
So this team, so far, we've seen a little bit of everything. We've seen a little bit of slow down, run an offensive play, get set. We've seen some run and gun, and we've seen some, obviously, long-range shooting as well. So what do you as coaches want this team to be? I mean, are we a fast-paced run-and-gun team? Are we a team that we're going to shoot 10, 12, 15 three-pointers a game? I mean, how do you break down this team, and what do you want to see?
We're going to hang our hat on our defense. You know, that's what's going to win games for us. You know, if we can stop people from scoring, offense will come. You know, I'm a firm believer in getting stops. It will lead to scores. So, you know, I'm going to focus on our defensive intensity, which I don't have to do much because Isaac and Will are 2 of the best perimeter defenders that a lot of kids will see all year. So, you know, and then they got Xavier behind them, backing them up if they do get beat. So it's just stay solid defensively, and the offense will happen. You know, we're going to shoot the 3 any way it goes. You know, it's part of the game. The game's kind of going that way. All the kids want to do it. So hang our hats on our defense, and the offense will happen.
And you know, you mentioned it earlier, when Xavier did foul out, the defense really didn't seem to take much of a hit, and that was fantastic because when you got a 7-footer like that protects the rim like Xavier does, you know, when you lose a guy like that, a lot of times maybe on defense, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you can be maybe a little more lackadaisical because you know you got the 7-footer back there to help you out. But with him out there, with him not out there, the guys did not step down at all. That's
the beauty of having good perimeter defenders. You know, they can be more aggressive when they know they have a shot blocker back there, but at the same time, they're still really good defenders. So they didn't get beat very much. You know, they made some plays defensively, and like I said, we just came up short.
All right, well, let's look ahead now. So Tuesday we've got Centerville, and we talked about them briefly. But Centerville, I know they've got some returning players, and they're pretty excited about what they have this year. Obviously, they're a little bit smaller conference and not as tough day in, day out as a Little Hawkeye. But you guys know it. Everybody wants to come in and beat Oskaloosa, so they're going to bring it on Tuesday.
Right. I mean, you know, we have a target on our back. We've had a target on our back, you know, for the past 2 seasons. So it's us understanding that, hey, we are the hunted. You know, we're no longer hunting. We're being hunted, and we have to be prepared to fight night in, night out, no matter how good or bad the team is, we have to bring our best effort.
Then Friday we go back on the road, conference game, DCG. Last year, DCG gave us a little bit of a contest. They've got some young talent that's back this year. Where do you think they fall in this conference?
Again, two great guards. Glasgow and Rankin are two really good guards, and they can score the ball from anywhere on the floor. And DCG is a problem because they'll play 5 or 6 different defenses in the course of a game, and there's no rhyme or reason as to when they go into them. So getting our guys ready to face a different defense in back-to-back possessions is going to be like that's the task at hand after we get through Tuesday night.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. I know the guys will come back focused, ready to go on Tuesday at home against Centerville, and then hopefully pick up a big conference win and get back on track on Friday at DCG. Dwan, thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it. And we're going to talk to Xavier Foster, the big 7-footer, coming up here in a moment. But get back at it. We'll see you on Tuesday.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jay.
All right. That is Dwan Foster. He's the head boys basketball coach right now at Oskaloosa. He's one of the assistants, of course, on the staff, but with Coach Parker out, Coach Foster's kind of taken over the helm for the time being. So back at it at home on Tuesday, hosting Centerville, on the road Friday at DCG. We'll have both of those contests right here on the Indians Network. We'll take a break. Back with more Indians Corner coming up right after this.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Shake the sugar tree till I feel you.
They was swinging. Yeah, just a swinging. I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime. You mind your own business. Mind your own business. Everybody in town knows I'm crazy over you. Thunder Country, your all-time favorites.
Welcome back to the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. We're going to continue our Oskaloosa boys basketball talk. We're joined right now, as you can see, by our senior Xavier Foster, and I'm glad we're sitting because I only come about to the waist of Xavier Foster. But Xavier, good to see you. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, let's talk about the start of this season. A lot of hype coming in, obviously, ever since last March when you guys ended the season on the floor at Wells Fargo Arena with the 3A state championship. I guess let me start here first. Obviously, your focus is basketball when it comes to athletics. So what types of things have you been doing since last March when we won that state title to get ready for this year?
I got my foot better. I had surgery on my foot. And then ever since that, we've been working out. We've been in the gym working on ball handling, consistency with the ball.
Yep.
Shooting.
Obviously, we knew we had some new faces coming in to take over some roles this year with Cole gone and Austin gone and Ryan gone. So how much time did you put in working with the new guys that are going to fill some of those roles?
We kind of just hopped into practice because, they had football, so there wasn't much open gym. I think we had 2 weeks open gym, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to get together and play. But, we knew each other coming into the season. We knew what we all liked to do.
Yeah, you've played with these guys at younger levels before.
Yeah.
So it's not totally new. So then we get into the season, and we have the first game at Fairfield. Of course, Fairfield gave us a run at home last year in the opening game, and then we took it to them in sub-state to get to state. So always fun to play Fairfield, and came out, and I tell you what, just talk about your game first, and then we'll talk about the team. But I had you for 31 points. I think the official book had you at 28. You had 5 block shots, 12 rebounds, did a little bit of everything. So just tell me about your performance on Tuesday and how you felt.
Just coming in, I was a little bit nervous. First couple free throws came off long. First shots weren't good shots. I made a couple. I started getting into a groove, and then since then I've been feeling a little bit more confident with my shot, but now it just comes down to consistency.
So, you know, we've seen it a time or two, and those that know you know that one of the reasons that you get so much attention is your range, and you know, you're not just a guy that can dunk the basketball. You can run the floor, you can handle the ball, you can pass, you can mid-range, long range. We saw that long range on Tuesday. Talk about that, and how have you developed a shot like that? You don't see 7-footers taking 30-foot shots.
Yeah, it was just the flow. I made a couple in a row, and I started feeling myself. I started checking shots. Probably wasn't the best idea, but once I got in the momentum of the game, started feeling comfortable. It was I just felt like I could just shoot from anywhere.
All right. So yeah, just a great game there, obviously, that propelled us to that season-opening win. How did you feel the rest of the team performed? I mean, you know, when you look back at that game and give it a grade, do you feel everybody filled their roles well and kind of did what they were supposed to do?
We did, for sure. I feel like there's still things that we need to work on. Me especially, understanding the pace of the game and like just how to play, really, because people are going to guard me different. Like last night, or Friday night against Grinnell, their only goal is against the side of my head, and I let them win that battle. So, you know, just figuring things out for myself, really.
You know, that's one thing I do want to talk about a little bit is your mental toughness, because you know, here you are, you're what, a 17-year-old kid, and you've been feeling this pressure since you were, you know, 13, 14, maybe even younger. But you know that teams are going to bring it at you. You know the fans are going to bring it at you, especially the student sections. You had a lot of fun with that Tuesday at Fairfield. You were playing along with them and stuff. Yeah. But tell me what that's like for you while you're on the floor, you know, hearing these chants and people cheering when you miss a free throw or whatever the case is. And how do you block that out and stay mentally tough?
To me, it's just if you're overrated and that sort of stuff, I'm winning the battle. Like, it means you're paying enough attention to me that nothing else matters, that I'm overrated, you know. So I kind of use it as a fuel.
All right. So like I said, that's tough to do, and you do it very well. And then I guess your eventual goal is to put up enough points and stuff that they just don't have anything else to chant negative, right?
Right, yes. Not a bad goal.
All right. Well, obviously, we had the loss on Friday night at home against Grinnell, and I'm sure you know there's media boards out there and things and message boards that are saying things. But I want to know what is your feeling and what is the team's feeling after that loss on Friday? What was it like in the locker room, and what do you feel it's going to be like heading into this coming week?
You know, the team was really supportive of me. I mean, I didn't make the best choices. There was some. I can count 3 stupid fouls in my head right now, and then also just letting them get to me mentally. So in my head, it wasn't my loss, but I wasn't really a big help to the team. You know, I should have kept my composure, and then, like we said, we scored 8 points in the fourth and overtime. I feel like I could have helped my team in that situation.
Absolutely. So, you know, the team did the best they could without you, and we got it into overtime, and then unfortunately suffered that loss. So when you head back to the gym then on Monday, what are your focuses, and what do you guys want to accomplish heading into next week?
My focuses are coming in at the practice, you know, learning to play with pace, because like we said earlier, people are going to guard me differently, and I just got to find different ways to score the ball other than jack shots. You know, I got to find a way to get to the rim and be strong and finish the contact.
All right, Xavier, talk about some of the fun, now that you're a senior in high school. So let's go off of basketball for just a moment and just tell me about your senior year so far. Last year at high school, I know you had a lot of things going with the announcement of college and things. That's behind you now, but tell me about your senior year, how much fun it was in the fall, taking part in the activities, and then leading up to your college announcement.
Right, so going into my college announcement, I really was doing the same thing basically. I was just chilling. You know, I was just being a kid. I didn't know what I was going to do until the day before. You know, so I've really just been, right now I'm just living with my team. Like, we're just hanging out every Wednesday. You know, we'll have group activities. We'll go play. We'll go bowling. You know, we'll go eat together. So right now we're really just bonding. And I'm just, you know, I'm living like a high schooler.
Yeah, well, that's what you need to do. Obviously, it's your last chance to do that. Yeah. Obviously, things are going to change a lot when you get to the next level. We can talk about that briefly. I know you've been asked this 100,000 times, but why ultimately did you choose Iowa State?
Really, it was just the connections. I'm good friends with the players, so you know, we had good relationships. That was the main part. But then also, just I was up in Ames all the time, so I had a good. I felt comfortable there.
Yeah, and obviously you played some pickup games and things with some of the guys and the players. And how do you feel you're going to fit in at that next level? And what types of things do you want to see yourself improve on between now and the time you get there?
Things I need to work on for sure are my motor. Really just keeping going when I'm tired. You know, me and my dad talk about it all the time. You can tell when I'm tired, I shut down a little bit. So I need to work on that for sure.
Okay. Well, you're a fun player to watch, obviously, and you know it's something that that most of us don't get the opportunity to watch like we do here in Oskaloosa. We're pretty blessed with that. So, thank you for bringing your talent here and letting us all witness it on a weekly basis. And it's been a lot of fun to watch you and broadcast you and cover you. I'm looking forward to a lot more this year. And how do you feel? You feel confident we can go back and defend that state championship?
I'm confident, but it's going to take a lot of work.
All right, good deal. That is our 7-foot senior, Xavier Foster, joining us here on the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm in Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Zay, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, again, the Indians in action on Tuesday at home against Centerville, and then Friday on the road at DCG. We'll have them all right here on the Indians Network. Take a break. Back with more coming up right after this.
Oskaloosa. It's our community, and we're thankful to be a part of it. Telling its stories, sharing its smiles. We're building community, keeping you informed, giving you a voice, letting you know you're never alone during the victories and the losses, happiness and pain. For tomorrow's a new day, and we'll be there, working for you, ready to tell your story. That's our commitment. It's what we do, now and in the future, because we're always on. We're Oskaloosa News.
Welcome back to Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network. I'm Jamie Brockman. We're going to shift from the hardwood to the mats now. Talk a little Oskaloosa wrestling. Their season is also underway, and we're joined by head coach Chase Weber once again. And we're also going to talk to one of our wrestlers, Leland Evans, coming up here in a moment. But first of all, Coach, busy first part of the season, first week of action, and you were in action Thursday and then a big tournament Saturday. Overall, we can break down each one separately, but overall, through those two, how do you feel the first week went?
I think about as good as we could. We had just a few matches where we were hoping for a little more, but like you said, it was a busy week. Some of the kids' first time competing in the high school, definitely first time weighing in. All that considered, everything went really smooth.
So, first week of the season, you had a couple of weeks of practice prior to. How is the weight situation? Is everybody where they need to be yet, or is that something you're still working on?
Everybody was where they wanted to be for week one. I'll say it like that.
Okay.
I know everyone was feeling good. We had everything filled. We had some backups between injuries and trying to work out some wrestle-offs. So we have some depth at certain weights, and we filled in where we needed to. So everything's good for now.
Okay. And as far as that weight thing goes, when is it that you want everybody to be at the weight they're going to be at so they can wrestle at that weight and get several matches in? Is it Christmas break, or what is kind of your deadline there?
Deadline's not as big of a deal as much as common opponent. So the sooner we can get to where you want to be, the better, because district time, when you're at the seeding meetings trying to put people on the line in the bracket, we want to have as much common opponent, as many head-to-head, and keep our record as safe as we can on the right weight. So you say if you got somebody at 160 not cutting weight, and at the end of the year they want to go to a different weight class, you kind of lose some of those criteria, and you could be up a weight class and giving up some of those strength. You lose a close match when you could have won some other one. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but the sooner the better, so you have more of those chances to beat out other people when you don't. We might not see, well, I know we won't see all the teams in our district, so you want to have as many of those things as you can.
Sure. All right. Well, let's talk about each of your first competitive matches. Then we started out Thursday, and it was a triangular with Sadell and Sheraton, and actually it was a quad with Oskaloosa, Sadell, Sheraton, and Grinnell. And so you had 3 duels all Thursday night to start off the season. I know one big goal going in, especially with the new guys, is, hey, let's just get out there and compete and not give up and wrestle 3 periods. Can came out 2-1. So how did you feel about Thursday, and who were some of the kids that maybe stood out to your expectations, and maybe some kids that even exceeded expectations a bit?
Well, going in, like we talked the last time about, our goal is to try and close those gaps on those duels, and we lost to Grinnell by 1 match is what it came down to. So between different kids and different matches, not saying who individually, it's just we came down to 1 match, and that's kind of where we wanted to be. We wanted to be in those winning positions. You know, between missing a couple people in the lineup that we might want versus the kids stepping in. There's freshmen in the lineup, there's sophomores in the lineup, you got a kid from every grade. So we're really proud of those guys being there and then learning from it to say, okay, here, how tough was this? Now you kind of need to know where you need to be. You got to keep working. But overall, everybody did really well. Like you said, battling and trying to finish matches. You know, we were in a couple of those matches that we actually lost. I think 2 of them we were winning, and then we get rolled through or, you know, flipped over, and we end up losing the match, but they were in the match.
Yep. So, again, without calling out individuals, but we talked about the middleweights being pretty strong. You have a pretty good returning nucleus there. I know a couple of freshmen you're pretty excited about. Looks like they had a pretty good day. How do you feel your older kids did, your experienced kids? I mean, are they where you want them to be right now?
Yeah, and the tournament, especially just yesterday, it's a 14-team tournament. We got into that so we could get some of that competition, see some different faces that we won't normally see. And you know, our senior Wyatt Career had 5 matches. I mean, that's our limit in a day. And between how his bracket worked out, he got 5 matches, went 4-1. But because it's a big tournament, we ended up 5th place. But overall, it was a good performance. We beat a district opponent during that time. We have some common criteria over another opponent where we're going to see people at another tournament. So it was good for him to get all those matches in. Keegan Mitz-Butler had 4 matches, wrestling some tough kids. The number 2 ranked 2A, I don't remember. I think that's what it was. Heavyweight, so he got a little bit of competition there. You know, yeah, we want to win that, but we also need that experience. And then some of those young guys like Trey Miller, same thing, winning. He had 4 matches in a day. You know, he probably hasn't done that in a while. So getting those kind of grind matches in, where we're going to need that down the road to know what it feels like.
So that's, I mean, that's a lot of matches in a day, but it's a lot of matches in a week too when you factor in Thursday night and then Saturday. But so Saturday that was the DCG invite, Dallas Center Grimes, and as you said, it was a 14-team tournament. Your team came away right in the middle, 7th place, beat some pretty good teams, and were in contention to get into the top 5 anyway. 9 place winners on the day, led by the wrestler we're going to talk to in a little bit, Leland Evans, who came in with the championship. Obviously, he had a good day. Win a championship goes without saying.
It was great. I mean, I believe that's our first champ at the tournament. And then our team finish is almost, you know, cut in half from our last 2 years. I think we finished 12th last year. You know, it's the same thing. We missed out on a few matches, but then this year, having more kids stay in the tournament, have more kids win a few matches, and then look what happens to your team score. You know, you double up. So yeah, we were in contention we were in 4th, fighting for 4th for a little while, and then that final round, we just needed a few extra wins, and just depending on those places that we snuck back down. But we were, I think, 3 points away from 6th place and 5 points away from 5th place. So it's moving up there. I like that because it was a big tournament. We want to keep our name up there and let people see us.
Definitely. Well, one thing that I notice, and I don't know, I'm sure you notice this. I don't know. Maybe I make a bigger emphasis out of it than you do. But obviously, we wish some of these matches were for, you know, 1st place or 3rd place or something. But the one thing I notice is it seems like several of the guys won their last match of the day, their placement match or their medal match, and that's got to be exciting. They didn't quit at the end of the day after a long day. They didn't give up because they were wrestling for 7th or 5th instead of 1st or 2nd. So is that something that you notice out of the kids too? Yeah,
and then the youth part there, like Lucas Phillips. I mean, that's his first varsity tournament. We get him there, and you know, wrestling tough kids, but then he won 2 matches. So it's like you won to stay in the tournament, and then you won your last match to kind of give yourself that little extra boost. And like Salvador Gonzalez, I think he won his last match, like kind of bounced back. You didn't want to lose to go for 7th, but then you win your last match. Like that, those are big for carryover effect.
Sure. So early in the season, in the practice room, tell me what the practice room is like and what your routine is. Obviously, early in the season, a lot of focus is probably on cutting weight and getting where you need to be in conditioning. And then at what point do you really transition into working on offense, defense, moves, and technicalities and things like that?
Well, first thing is we're crowded, but if anybody wants to buy us a new room, we'll gladly take it. We could use another mat space. But with that said, we first part, we've had to do more group stuff. So, I mean, practice time is a little bit limited on how long we can be in there, so we try not to kill them with 3-hour practices. So trying to keep that down and doing group stuff, you know, maybe we could be a little bit more heavy on the conditioning side, but we're working with them and they're working hard, and if they're working hard, we'd cut them out early. So we're trying to keep them fresh, keep them excited. So really kind of balancing between how they're acting, how they're responding. And it's been great. I mean, they've been battling each other every day, and you know, we just want to see more of that when we go out on the mat. Like, don't hold back because they're out in the middle. Act like you are in practice.
I know one of our key seniors that we expect to have a pretty good season, Cody Gunn, is out with, I believe, a shoulder, knee, sorry. What is his status? When do you expect to see him be able to get on the mat?
I believe his therapy stuff has been going really well. We're going to find out more this week. We'll see what he gets cleared for. I mean, if you want to be super optimistic, trying to get into the pellet tournament, but most likely we'll probably sit him out until after Christmas to be safe. Just kind of depends how this week goes, and we'll see what the trainers say. I mean, he's been doing well. He's been biking, and we're hoping to get him jogging and everything like that to see how he responds. But overall, we're expecting him to come back, and we're waiting for him.
Any other injuries of note at this point?
No, we've been good. It's been a first week. It's a little bit harder, but no, everybody's been good right now. We got a couple bumps, bruises, and scrapes, but nothing bad.
All right. Well, you get a few days to go in the room and practice. I'm guessing maybe you gave him Sunday off after a tough week.
Yeah, I got to give him Sundays off. They don't let me take Sundays.
But back in the room on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you've got a home duel on Thursday, or a triangular actually, with Norwalk and Winterset. That's Norwalk's in the conference, Winterset is not. Those are two metro area teams coming to our gym on Thursday. It's going to be our first look at the Indian Wrestling Squad on the Indians Network. You can watch it as well on Thursday. But tell me about Norwalk and Winterset and some of the challenges that they bring, and maybe some of the areas you feel that you guys might stand out.
Typically Norwalk, a bigger squad, you know, a little bit more battle tested. They have some more bigger clubs in that area, so their kids might be more active more year round. So they're a little more tough in nature. And then both teams, I believe, have 4 ranked individuals. You know, Norwalk's always pretty tough. They got a few guys, and then Winterset has some top-ranked couple guys. So they're actually, I think, a top 5 2A team. So it's going to be rough when we get into those matches, but we're going to depend on those other weights to help carry the team and help each other out. We got to feed off of that and really help motivate people when they're out in their matches to keep battling. But normally, Winterset, last year was tougher than we thought they were going to be, and they had those guys come back. So now we're a little bit more ready for them. And then Norwalk trying to chip away. I think 2 years ago we might have won one match and then lost a couple close ones. And then last year we won a couple matches. And you know, we're keep chipping away, but we want to close that gap just like we do with every other duel. So.
Sure. So that is Thursday. It's going to be at home in the Oski gym. 5:30 is the start time. It's a triangular, so start off with Oski wrestling. I guess the way you told me, probably Norwalk first, Oski Norwalk.
Yep, yeah, do conference first.
Yeah, do the conference one first, and then there'll be a little break, and then Norwalk will wrestle Winterset, and then Oskaloosa will come back and close the night in a duel against Winterset. We'll have the whole triangular right here on the Indians Network. You can watch it on MCG Channel 7 or on indiansnetwork.tv on the stream, and we'll start probably just about 5:15 or so with that on Thursday, and look forward to bringing you all the action on the mats on Thursday. Anything else you want to add, Coach, for this week?
No, it'd be great to see more people out there, and it's going to be a lot of action. There'll be 3 different matches going on, so it'll be a long night. Show up whenever you want to.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Coach, and congratulations on a good start to the season. We'll talk to you again next week and see how things are progressing.
All right, thank you.
And we'll see you Thursday as well. That is Chase Weber, head wrestling coach, Oskaloosa High School, joining us here on Indians Corner. Don't go away. More wrestling talk coming up. We're going to talk to our champion from the DCG Invite, Leland Evans, will join us right after this.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! Decision.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Welcome back to Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell, State Farm, and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee here on the Indians Network, which is presented by Craig Ford. I'm Jamie Brockman. We continue our wrestling talk now, and this here is our champion from the DCG invite on Saturday, Leland Evans. He's a junior, and he had a busy week. He's also part of the co-ed dance team for Dance Dynamics that won a state championship, which we're also going to feature coming up a little bit here on this week's program. But busy week for you, Leland.
Yep, it was. It was fun.
Fun and exciting, though.
Yep.
Is it easier to stay focused when you have different things like that in a week, because you can't mess around. You got to be here, then you got to be here, then you got to be here.
I like being involved and having things to do. I like to stay busy.
All right. Well, obviously, wrestling season is here. I talked to you in football a little bit up in the OVP room a couple of times, and we talked about wrestling and some of the expectations. But I know coming into the season, I look at some of the guys we have in place, and I feel pretty confident that this team is going to be a much different team this year.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We got a lot of numbers out this year, which is always good. You get better practice time, basically. You get more competition in practice, and then you can also just fill the lineup and have a better chance in competition compared to our past years.
Sure. Now, obviously wrestling is an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. Tell me how you balance that, and you're out there for yourself, but you're also there for your team.
Yeah, it's kind of everybody has to do their job. It's kind of like in football, you do your 1/11th. There's 14 weight classes, and everybody does their 1/14th. You have to go out there and wrestle your best match and give your all for your team, basically. You're out there for yourself, but the points go for your team.
So you were actually out. So if you've got a chance to get a major decision and pick up an extra team point, something like that, is that going through your mind as you're out there on the mat?
Yeah. It's pretty cool to have like tech falls and pins. Those you want to look for a pin usually because that's 16 points compared to a tech falls 5. 8 points is a major decision, which is worth 4 points, and then if you just beating someone's 3 points. So you always want to win the match, obviously, and give yourself 3, give your team 3, and then you always want to if you can't really get a pin in, you want to look for a major decision by just increasing the score and putting more match points down, and then always looking for a pin too.
Sure. Well, how difficult has the transition been from football to wrestling? It's not your first time doing it, obviously, but
No.
do you have a routine to get yourself ready from football into wrestling and to get to weight and all that stuff?
Not really. I probably should work on that, honestly, but I enjoy both sports a lot. Coming out of football, I was weighing kind of heavy I was weighing about 55, wanting to go 45. So I didn't really focus on that. I was more just trying to get in shape and focus on just getting back in the groove of wrestling rather than focusing on my weight and stuff.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about your performance Saturday in a minute, but what are your goals for the season? We just talked before we went on. Freshman year, you just missed getting to state, finished 3rd at districts. Last year, you didn't get a chance because you were ill. So what is your goal this year as a junior?
Yeah, I'd like to be at the state tournament again. It's been a while since I've been there, and that's always a fun place to be. Looking for a conference championship, that'd be good too. And then just winning a lot more. I want to cut last year I think I went like 24-12 or something like that, or 22-12, and I want to cut my losses in half and turn those into wins. That's my goal.
Okay. Talk about your preparation for high school as well. I know you were very involved in youth wrestling. I've known you since you were just a little tot, but talk about that and how big that is. If you want to be a state champion, how big of a part of that is the youth?
I've been wrestling for 12 or 13 years now, and I haven't really missed out on a year. I think 7th grade year I suffered a shoulder injury, but I had a lot of experience coming into high school, and it helped me out a lot freshman year and a lot of my matches still to the day. Just being in matches and being mat awareness basically, and knowing where you're at in a competition and knowing how to wrestle smart. It helps out a lot with experience, I would say. Okay. And you can always push your conditioning stuff, though. That's a now thing.
I know you're a guy that doesn't back away from challenges. You like them, and when we had you on in football, you know, you said, "I just want to hit people. I mean, I just want to make hits." And in wrestling, you just want to take them down and get wins. But I know over the off season, you and some of your teammates went to a pretty darn tough camp up in Minnesota. Talk about that a little bit.
We went up to J-Rob Intensive Camp, the 10-day camp. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be the hardest camp in the nation. It's 10 days of hard, basically. You just go out there and you train, and it's more, I would honestly call it more of a running camp than anything, because you just wake up at 5:30 every morning and you run, and then you go eat, and then you have another workout, and then you eat again, then you have another workout, and then you eat again, you work out 2 times after that, and then you have your bedtimes every day and your early wake-ups. It's basically a grind for 10 days, and it like challenges you mentally, and it's really how it changes your mindset on things and how hard you need to work.
Sure. All right, well, let's dig into the season now. Thursday in that quad, and then Saturday at DCG. Obviously, you got the championship Saturday, but let's go back to Thursday. How'd you feel about your performance there?
Kind of disappointed. I gave up I had a hard loss against the Grinnell match. It's a conference match too, and I need to win those matches. I was up on the kid and was kind of being sloppy. You need to work on my conditioning. He's a ranked kid, I guess, yeah. He's ranked number 8, and I was ahead. I definitely should have won that match, but I need to work on being in better shape and just conditioning. And I was wrestling kind of sloppy and caught myself, and he came out with the win, and I didn't.
Yep. So then Saturday, obviously you refocused and you went to a very tough DCG tournament. As we've talked about, 14-team tournament, and the brackets were deep and full, and you came away champion. So obviously you had to feel good about the day as a whole, but anything particular that stands out to you on your performance on Saturday?
Saturday was more of just a bounce back from Thursday, I think. Trying to get myself ranked this year. That's really one of my goals too. And I know I needed to win that tournament, and I've been looking forward to that. I didn't get the best seeding because I didn't wrestle there last year, and that was kind of hard to go through. So I had difficult matches right there at the beginning, and I didn't get as much points as I needed to have in the matches, but I came out with the win in all of them. I definitely could have. It showed myself what I need to work for. Basically, I need to push myself and show me what I need to work on, and it was good.
All right. Well, obviously, it's very early in the season. We've got a long ways to go, a lot of matches to come, a lot of practice time yet. So what do you think, what are your strengths? When you break yourself down, how do you describe yourself as a wrestler? Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses?
Well, it can be a strength or a weakness, but my dad and everybody's always told me I kind of wrestle to my opponent's ability, which is, it's good if I have a hard match. I can wrestle to his ability, and I can go as hard as I actually need to. But as far as when I'm wrestling kids that don't have as good of ability and aren't as good, I need to be pushing myself and working on technique and just getting more match points and team points rather than just wrestling a match at their ability. I can always go harder than I do, basically.
Right. So obviously we've got holiday break coming up here shortly, not too much further away, and you get some time out of the room during that time, and you get to eat a little bit. I mean, you've got family get to. How hard is that as a wrestler over the holidays? I mean, I've seen where kids are just grimacing because they want to eat and they got to watch everybody else eat. But how tough is that?
It depends on how much you're cutting and what you're going to. This year it hasn't been that bad as far as we just came out of Thanksgiving and stuff. As I said earlier, I was weighing 55, coming down to 45. The water weight came off pretty easy. I got stuck there around 48 for a couple of days. Once I got that off, the weight just kind of dropped, and now I'm sitting fine right around 45, and I'm weighing under 45 to a pound over, and that's just fine. So it really depends on how much weight you're cutting and how comfortable you are with the weight, cutting out your carbs, and just staying in shape and staying active. But after Christmas, you got to make your weight, and you get your 2-pound. Which everybody loves that, because then you just get to eat more and your diet gets heavier, and it's a lot more fun that way.
Absolutely. Well, Leland, congratulations on the start to your season, especially the championship on Saturday. Good luck to you. I know you're a fighter, and I look forward to seeing what you can accomplish this year.
Thank you.
Leland Evans, he's a very busy guy. Just some of the things, he's involved in OVP for one, and he's run some cameras and things for some of our volleyball broadcasts and maybe some of our basketball broadcasts coming up as well. He was a member of the football team, obviously a member of the wrestling team, and he's a member of the co-ed dance team, which just won a state championship we're going to feature here in a few minutes. So Leland's a very busy guy, and we appreciate his time today. All right, we'll be back with more on our Indians Corner coming up, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. We've been talking about it. We've got a special surprise for you coming up. Don't go away.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! Decision.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Welcome back to our Indians Corner here on the Indians Network, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. I'm Jamie Brockman. We have switched locations now because we have a special surprise that we want to focus on for the next few minutes here. As I'm sure you've heard, our Oskaloosa co-ed dance team claimed the state championship for the 4th consecutive year this past Thursday at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. So we're so proud of them, and our other teams also showcased well at the state dance, so we'll talk about that as well. But we've got a lot of the co-ed members here, not the whole team, but we've got a majority of them here. We're going to talk to the captains, and then we're going to show you a little bit of what they did at Wells Fargo Arena on Thursday. So we're going to start with Carson Swim, and we're getting to know Carson really well. We've had her on, I think this is the 3rd time you've been in the studio this year, and Carson is a 4-time champion of this. You've won all 4, so what was that like? What was it like going in? Obviously the expectation was to win again. Tell me about your prep and then the actual performance and how you felt.
Yeah, so actually when I was a freshman until my junior year, I had the same partner who was Nick Dykstra, and then this year I had a new partner. So it was kind of different, but same kind of preparation. We worked really hard on getting the timing and lifts all together, and of course having facials and good performance. So it went really well this year, and we were super excited.
So I'm a little older than you, obviously, but this co-ed thing kind of started at least when I was about out of high school, like early 90s, I'd say. And at first, it was kind of a joke when the guys would go out there. It was just kind of an entertainment thing for the fans, and it wasn't real serious. But this is the real deal, isn't it? These guys, you hold high expectations for them.
Yeah, for sure. When we're asking boys, we definitely tell them, like, we're trying to win a state championship, and they want it too. So it's pretty cool that we have a lot of interest in being in co-ed now for the boys.
What's your favorite part of this co-ed?
My favorite part is performing it at Wells Fargo because everyone loves watching the boys dance and kind of have fun and perform, and so a lot of the crowd enjoys watching it for sure.
Okay, well, we're going to get back to you here in just a minute. I'm going to move on and talk to Jessica Cunningham. Jessica's a junior. She's won 3 and going to make it 4 next year, right?
Yes, for sure.
All right, so talk about that now. Obviously, you want to keep that trend going. You're one of the captains on the team. So how did you feel going in, and how did you feel about the performance?
It was super exciting. We all had a lot of fun just preparing and everything, so it was really fun.
Obviously. What are your favorite parts of this of the co-ed? Because it's a little different than some of your other routines, obviously.
I would say just like prepping the boys and everything, because they come in with a different mindset, really not knowing much about dance, and they learn a lot.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to move on. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to talk to the big guy, Kenny Satimi. Of course, we know Kenny from football, and he's a member of this co-ed team. And you just won your 3rd state co-ed championship, so what was that like?
It was really nice. Always love winning. Winning's the main purpose we go in with. We don't go in just like, oh, it's going to be fun. We want to win.
Yeah. Talk about your preparation. Talk about from the male standpoint, what types of things you do to get ready for this.
Well, of course, we're not going to look as exact and on point as the girls. We have not had the practice they had. So the point is mostly to look entertaining, look funny, facials, stuff like that, get the lifts, all that stuff.
It's hard work, though.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you find time with this, with football, band, everything else that you're in?
Well, just kind of scheduling. Scheduling is important, definitely. Try not to miss practices, try not to miss other practices I have, all that kind of stuff.
So what is your favorite part of this routine?
definitely going, well, part of the routine itself, I like the lifts. Always feel good when you get one. Always feels like, oh, I got the whole thing down. It's a whole motion, kind of stuff like that.
Now, you guys put a lot of practice time in for this, obviously, but isn't this the only time that you actually, at least leading into state, the only time you actually perform in front of an audience and judges and things is at the state meet?
No, we have a couple of other stuff. We try to actually, we have just a couple of days before state, we had a parent thing where we practice in front of audiences to get us ready for state kind of thing. So we have a couple before, and those are all in preparation mostly for state.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to talk to another one of the captains. This is Sullivan Ty. He was also on the football team, and then talked a lot about him in the fall. But what is this like for you?
Oh, it's just a fun time to be with the other guys and girls, just have fun and go out and win a state championship. It's just a blast.
4 in a row. How many have you been part of?
I've been a part of 2. This year and last year I've been part of the team that won it all. So.
Okay. So talk about your prep and the amount of time you put into this and just the mental toughness it takes to do this.
So you have to accept that you haven't been dancing. The guys haven't been dancing their whole lives like most of these girls have. So we have to know that we won't be perfect at everything, but we just have to listen to the girls. They'll help us out and just be good enough to win state.
All right. Well, you guys did it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So, all right. So I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to go to the girls because they're the organizers, right? I mean, that's how it works. So we don't have everybody here. We can't perform the whole routine, but you're going to show us a few things from the routine. So, do you know what you're going to show us?
Yeah, we'll show you the star lift, which is kind of our big lift in our routine. Lifts are really important for a co-ed because they're looking at how well we work with our partners. So they want to see difficulty in the lifts and also precision.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that might be interesting to showcase today? That it? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll let you guys go get set up, okay? And you let us know when we're ready. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see at least a part of the routine of our co-ed dance team that just won their 4th straight state championship at State Dance. So stick around. It's coming up right after this on the Indians Network.
Shake the sugar tree till I feel you.
They was swinging. Yeah, just a swing. I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime. You mind your own business. Mind your own business. Everybody in town knows I'm crazy over you. Thunder Country, your all-time favorites.
How does MCG Internet stack up against the rest? Our customers' 4-letter word to describe us: love. Their customers' 4-letter word to describe them. Join MCG and fall in love with your internet.
All right. All right, so there you saw just a portion, one of the lift segments of the routine that the co-ed state dance team just won state for the 4th straight year. They also got the Judges' Choice Award. I forgot to mention that. They also got the Judges' Choice Award. So great job there. Hope you enjoyed that. We wanted to showcase a little bit of what they do. So we're going to talk to Carson and Jessica again here just briefly because this wasn't the only routine that performed, of course, the last several days in Des Moines. You guys took several. So tell me some of the other routines and how the results were.
Yeah, so we brought a pom routine, which placed 3rd, our jazz routine, which got 2nd, and then our lyrical got 1st.
Okay, so 2 state champions. How many of those are you a part of?
All 4.
All 4. And Jessica, you too?
All 4.
All right. So what were you most pleased with? On the ride home, when it's all said and done, you're thinking back, what are the things that you're most pleased with and brag about, so to speak?
Well, getting the Judges' Choice for co-ed was super exciting because that's never happened in school history. It's really cool because out of all of the hundreds of routines, on Thursday, we got one of the 3 Judges' Choice Awards. So that's basically just a routine that really stood out to them and that they loved. And then we're really excited about lyrical because we were in a super tough category for lyrical. We were kind of expecting, hopefully we get in the top 5, but we don't know. There's a lot of tough competition. So winning 1st in lyrical was a big accomplishment for us.
Anything you want to add?
I would say we were just really happy that all the girls left everything they could on the floor. We were just really proud of everybody.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of work, obviously a lot of time. Congratulations on everything. It's a great program. So what's the rest of the year now? Is dance done for the rest of the year, or do you have more things that you compete in throughout the year?
So we're done with competing, but we'll be dancing at 2 basketball games on the 10th and the 17th. I think we'll do Palm this Tuesday and then probably Co-Ed the next Tuesday. And then our winter show will be sometime January, February. We don't have a date yet, but that'll be anyone in the community can come and watch all of our state routines and all of the routines we performed at halftime of football games.
Okay, well, congratulations on a great career for you, Carson, and Jessica, one more year to go for you, and we're going to bring home more state championships next year, right?
Oh, for sure.
All right. Carson Swim, Jessica Cunningham, a couple of the captains on Dance Dynamics joining us here, and hope you enjoyed the little snapshot there of part of the routine on the Co-Ed State Dance Champions, and thanks for coming in. We appreciate them all, and great job as well by Coach Katie Kane and her staff also with Dance Dynamics. We will take a break. We'll be back to finish up this week's Indians Corner right after this.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! Decision.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
All right, well, we hope you enjoyed this week's Indians Corner presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. All season long we'll be showcasing different things like this where we'll talk to coaches, but not just the coaches. We'll talk to some of the athletes, and we'll bring in some of the other winter sports activities as well. We still haven't yet, but we will. We'll talk some bowling. We'll talk some boys swimming yet to come this season on the Indians Corner. We'll talk cheer, all kinds of great stuff as we focus on all the different activities at Oskaloosa High School going on in the winter sports season here on the Indians Network. So thanks to everybody who came in today. As we look what's coming up next week, we've got, or this week rather, we've got girls basketball Monday night hosting North Mahaska. You'll see it here on the Indians Network. Tuesday, the Oskaloosa boys basketball team hosting Centerville. We'll have that on the Indians Network. Thursday, we have wrestling for the first time this year as the Indians are home on the mats, and they're going to be wrestling against Winterset and also Norwalk, and we'll have both of those duels for you right here on the Indians Network on Thursday with our pre-match starting at 5:15 and then action starting at 5:30. And then Friday, a girl-boy basketball doubleheader as we go on the road to DCG, and we'll have audio only for you on Friday night from DCG, but you can listen right here on the Indians Network. Thanks to everybody who came in today. Big thanks to those that made it in from Dance Dynamics. We appreciate those boys and those girls who came in, showed us part of their co-ed state championship routine. Congratulations to them, 4 straight state championships for the co-ed team in Dance Dynamics, just tremendous. Also, congratulations to the lyrical dance team who also won a state championship. And Coach Katie Kane and all the people that helped definitely have that program rolling in the right direction. Thanks to J.C. White, Oskaloosa girls basketball coach, Oskaloosa boys coach, interim coach, DeJuan Foster, and also Xavier Foster for joining us today, and Oskaloosa wrestling coach Chase Weber, as well as junior wrestler Leland Evans on the program today. We'll be back to do it again next week right here on the Indians Network with another Indians Corner presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Until then, I'm Jamie Brockman. Thank you for watching, and as always, go Indians!